Hello and welcome to Games Day 2013. Yes, we've arrived. It's been a couple of years since we've been to a Games Day, and things have got a little bit smaller. A little bit smaller. You might say even maybe a little bit more intimate. Out there, as you can see, is the main kind of hall. I'm sorry, but I'm going to call it the retail hall because that's pretty much what most of this is kind of like retail queues over at the far end. However, Workshop this year set out to try and change things. They felt that with the big numbers at the big venue, that there was too much queuing and people weren't getting access to things that they wanted, like buying stuff from Forge World, or buying stuff from Workshop, or buying books from Black Library, or accessing all the authors and designers and things. So, from what I can gather, they've tried to make it smaller to make it easier for us all to get access to the designers and things like that. They've done that by getting shot of all the playing gaming tables and things. So there's nobody here playing games today, which for me is a shocking shame, but that's what they set out to do. And I've got to say, for the most part, it's worked. I have been able to get access to designers today. I've had a great chat with Matt Ward. You know, I am his lookalike online after all. And Jez Goodwin and Adam Troke and a load of others. However, it has left things feeling a little bit soulless, so they may have to readdress that balance. Anyway, do you know what? Let's take a wicked quick tour around the thing, and I'll point over the balconies at the kinds of things that are here. So, kicking off, one of the big things, and it's one of the big things that Games Workshop now have been working on for 18 months, is the digital editions of the books. So, the digital editions have been going from strength to strength. They're getting better and better all the time, and they've got a big old stand completely dedicated to it. It smells a bit, but I'm told it's because of the hair dryers. That's what they're trying to tell me anyway. Here we have Brian, who ran up those stairs the moment we put the camera on, trying to get in.
I'm shattered. I just legged it all the way up.
Are you having a good day?
I'm having a very good day. I've bought loads of stuff.
He's bought about 4.5 tons of resin.
And a book.
Which book did you buy? That
The new one.
Okay, let me see. Let me see.
It's not even opened.
Well, it will be now in a second.
No.
Are you going to let our viewers have a sneak?
No.
Too bad. So sad. Oh, the things we do for our craft, Brian.
I can't believe you've opened my book.
The whole Rebel Alliance screamed out at once in pain the moment the seal was broke.
Yeah.
So, Brian's payment for getting on the show is, would you look at that? What a beautiful book.
It is beautiful. It's like pure air. Can you smell that?
Oh, it's got that beautiful new book smell, hasn't it? So, let me see.
I talked to the guy who did this picture, if I can get it.
Oh, Lloyd said.
No, not that picture, it's the other one, it's book one I was talking about.
Yeah, it was book one. So, yeah, let me show you some of the... Oh my God, look at that.
Yeah. I've not looked at this yet. He's just opened it for me.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. I can't believe that you didn't open this for the viewers of your show.
No, I waited till I get home.
Look at that. That is stunning.
That is beautiful.
Oh, Brian, you're missing out
I'm really
so
missing
much.
Out, I know. I've just been asking them what the book's like, and they said it's brilliant.
Oh, look. Oh, Brian, I'm so sorry, Brian.
No, you're not. I don't think you are at all. I mean, that's a lie.
It's a beautiful, beautiful book. I wish I had bought one. Unfortunately, I didn't, but lucky for us viewers, Brian did.
Yeah. So, you can pop over to my channel. I think I'm going to plug it now. You just
Go
went
ahead.
to look. Templars Crusade 01. Pop over there on YouTube.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah. And
He'll give you the late unboxing of that book.
yeah. The last time ever
But
seen.
you get to show off all the other stuff you've got in your nice bag.
Well, no, I'm going to hide that from the missus.
Right.
Yeah. It's too late now. She watches this. So it's ruined.
We're going to continue our tour.
Have fun.
Which is only going to take about another 4 minutes, Brian.
Yeah, that's
This
great.
was the highlight of Games Day for me.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll see you later. Take care, guys. See you later.
So, as well as that, then, they have a stand there, which is part of the design studio, and it's dedicated to all the artwork and things like that. And in the middle, he's not sitting now, was Jervis Johnson, and he's got this strange little thing going on where he has 6 Marines versus 6 Marines, and each have a dice in the middle. I think what he was doing is actually showing off some of the game design mechanics and what goes behind it. So, if I can, I will try and find out, and if any of you viewers know what the hell he was going on about, let us know. Down below us, we have more of the design studio. In this case, this is, I believe, the guys who were talking about how they manufacture or how they design the individual sprues and things. So there's some very interesting stuff there, and there's a guy specifically talking about the Centurion, and I think he's been rather busy all day. Moving on a little bit further. Do you remember I said that there was no gaming tables at Games Day? Well, I tell a lie. There was gaming tables at Game Days, a couple of really beautiful ones. This one here is an amazing Ultramarines. Well, it's a diorama, let's be honest. It's not a gaming table because nobody's rolling any dice on it today, so it's a diorama. But it is stunning, and it has been attracting attention all day. Can you even blame it? It looks great. What I'm wondering is, what proportion of a complete chapter of Ultramarines would that make up? Because it looks like, it looks probably about half. So that $7,000 package that you could buy from Workshop, it would give you tons more than you're even seeing there. They've done the same thing for Warhammer. They have a beautiful piece of design for Warhammer. And I'm very glad to see some actual handcrafted pieces of terrain. You'll see with the large kind of rocky outcrops with the skulls and stuff on them. Again, it's all based on the Citadel Realms of Battle board. You know, that's the direction Workshop are going these days. And to be fair, we understand why they're doing that. They're doing their bit to try and make the hobby is as accessible as possible. So by saying, look, there's nothing we're doing that you couldn't do yourself, provided you're able to buy it. Next up, we have more design studio stuff going on here. These guys are more dedicated towards the Warhammer side of things. Over there in the middle is where some of the writers and the actual game designers have been based as well. And I got a great chat with them. Was, for the next while, it's probably going to be a bit more focused on the Warhammer side of things rather than the 40k side of things. He will be missed. He's one of my favorite writers, actually. I love his stuff. Now, at this stage, bang, from this moment on, this is all kind of retail really over here. So what has been happening is to try and make things a little bit easier for people. They make you queue to get into Forge World. And then you pick up your stuff from Forge World, and then you have to queue to pay at these checkouts. So Forge World themselves are not actually exchanging any money. I don't know if it's worked very well, because anybody that I've spoken to today have been kind of saying that, well, they've ended up having to queue for a lot of the time anyway. So did it work? I don't know. I can't help but get the impression that the price of the ticket for this was maybe a little bit on the high side compared to the value return of previous years, where, you know, you got a limited edition miniature and things like that. It always made Games Day feel that bit more special, and that you were walking away with something that only you, and at that time 6,500 other people, were actually getting. Now, you're kind of not really walking away with anything other than, I think the official program came included in the little grab bag that you got at the start. Up on this part of the venue, we have all of the licensees. So here we have Space Hulk by Full Control, which is something absolutely stunning.
So you wanted to try it out and see what...
A bit further on round,
It's quite different to
we
the other,
have the guys from Slytherin. Now, you may, if you've been visitors to Salute in the past, you will have seen the guys from Slytherin.com. They've been present there. They do a lot of historical stuff, but they're doing a game called Armageddon, which looks really, really interesting, actually. It's an iPad game, but it kind of looks like that real-time strategy type thing, and they're very good at that. Here we have Roadhouse Interactive. Now, Roadhouse are doing an awesome Space Marine platformer called Carnage, which I think is just looking stunning. So if you're into your platformers, which I grew up with the Amiga, so I'm absolutely into my platformers, then this is definitely one to watch. One of the key guys behind this used to be the general manager of Relic, I believe, as well. So they have a pedigree in there of doing cool stuff with the 40k license. Next up, we have Nomad Games. And Nomad have done something based on the Talisman license. So if you guys haven't tried that, you might want to check that out on iPad. All these games so far have all been kind of mobile devices and iApps and things like that. There's no, as far as I can see, of the really big licensees. And to be fair, after the collapse of THQ, it might be a little bit of time before we see the likes of that again. But just until, my apologies, I'll squeeze around this way, just until the video game market kind of gets itself together again, because we've got this situation now in video games where you're either selling apps for a couple of dollars or doing big ass titles like Grand Theft Auto 5 where you spend $170 million in the process. So, finally we have Blood Bowl on this side, and everybody loves Blood Bowl. You know, with the decision by Games Workshop not to continue support of the specialist games, what we'll probably find is on the iApps, and with these guys here, this is where the future of specialist games lies. So I say the best of luck to them, and we should probably try to support them as much as we can, because we all love those titles. We want to see those titles back on the tabletop. So if any of these guys can get a runaway success with that, then we're improving the chances of these things coming back to the tabletop. So, that's kind of it for this floor. There's one other floor, which is actually a basketball court down beneath our feet in the basement. And down there is where all the armies on parade are, and where the Golden Demon entries are. They're kind of packing up a lot of that stuff at the moment. So, if we can get down there, we will. If we can't, well, then that's your lot. As days go, yeah, it's been interesting. It's been nice to be able to get access to all of the game designers, you know, the painters, and the guys that do all the sculpting and stuff. That's been great. It has felt like it's lacked a little bit of soul, though, because back in 2010, I remember us walking around and guys on their gaming tables that have come from all over the UK, bringing gaming tables and participation games from their clubs, just going mad. And you would hear roars and shouts and screams from all over the place. This is somewhat quieter, somewhat less enthusiastic. It feels a little bit sterile, but they did accomplish what they set out to do. It was easy to talk to the designers. Hopefully next year, they'll try to strike the balance a little bit better again. That's it from me. I've kind of enjoyed Games Day, and if you didn't get to it, I don't think you worry too much. Next year's probably your one. Good morning, and welcome to the Weekender. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? So I'm joined, of course, by Justin.
Hey guys.
And my brother Lloyd.
Aloha!
Aloha!
Oh, now you're just getting fancy with it, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, what you've just watched there was our Games Day report. Just before we had our equipment confiscated.
And I think we're the only ones that got it done to us.
Apparently. Now we said we went to Games Day. We spent a long time there, just trying to get into the vibe of it. More on that later. I saw loads of people walking around with video cameras and stuff like that there. Loads of other YouTubers going doing their thing. I think even I was interviewed twice. And then we brought it out just to do
a quick walk around.
Once round, just to give the feel of the vibe. And then next thing, security guard comes up and says, hello. What we got here then?
Slightly higher pitched than that, but hey.
Yeah.
Was it not a woman?
It was a woman.
Strange woman.
Yeah, we'll not hold that against her. So anyway, yes, Beast of War have the what do we call that, an honor badge? That we went to Games Day and we got our equipment confiscated.
We're now.
Anyway, last night we put out an announcement. We're going to talk about that later in the show. So we're doing our best to try and stay on top of any questions and comments and things like that you guys have.
Stay on target.
Yeah, it's all a bit. It's all a bit. Yeah, it's like
Is that it?
we're like in free fall at the moment. Yeah, so it's all a bit weird. It's all a bit heavy.
I'm in Vegas and I've jumped out of the airplane.
Yeah.
To get hitched on the way down with Elvis preaching to me.
That's all right, Mama.
Is this this is just my fantasy about getting married?
Yeah,
is it?
so our announcement last night, in case you haven't seen it, was about Beasts of War going out completely independent again as a result of terms and conditions that have been forced upon us or placed upon us by the way Games Workshop works with Wayland Games. So go and watch it if you haven't seen it, and then you can come back to this. But we'll be talking about that later. So Games Day.
Yes, Games Day.
I was disappointed.
Yeah, well, you know, I made it clear in the video. I think it was so strange. Like I went along, and I've got to be fair. I did go along a little bit worried about it, and I think that I'd mentioned that in previous episodes of the Weekender, that I was a little bit worried about the direction that it was going to take. But it was so dry. Like, I mean, it was soulless. It really was.
Well, on our trip back, I was referring to Games Day used to be a celebration of Games Workshop and everything they were, or everything they are.
Yeah, and everything they were interconnected to with their IP.
But Games Day this year may as well have just been called Sales Day.
Yep. It was very much like that. But here's the thing. You can't crucify them for it unless they do the same thing again next year. Because every company is allowed to try things differently. Okay? They've been doing it for years and years and years. They are fully entitled to change things up and try something new to see what happens. They may think it worked very well. And to be fair, if their objective was to make it easy for us to talk to designers and to make it easy for people to buy Games Workshop products, buy Fantasy Flight products, buy Forge World products, they kind of succeeded. Still, people were queuing for 2 to 3 hours to buy Forge World stuff. I got great chats with the game designers. It was great. I got to hook up.
Yeah, because everyone was queuing for the stuff.
Well, yeah, everybody was over at Forge World, and I was over annoying Matt Ward. Hi, Matt.
I would agree. You did get to approach people. I was talking to Forge World's art department, and I have some notes on it, but I'll let you continue on. Then I'll go through what I was chit-chatting about with those guys.
Well, the reason, I don't think it's hard to work out why I felt it was soulless. Games Day previously, as you say, Lloyd, was like a celebration of the hobby, okay, of the Games Workshop hobby. And what you'd have the stores all over the UK, all working for months to build
everybody coming together
and gaming tables and to recruit people in the stores and say we're all going down on a big bus and stuff like that. There was none of that this year. All the stores were open. Previous years, they shut all the stores and brought all the staff into Games Day. To be fair, you should still do that, but the staff should volunteer to come down on Games Day. You shouldn't be paid for that. Games Day is a celebration. You should volunteer for that. That might make it easier for the company to do it in the future. So if all you staff get together and tell the upper echelon that we'll volunteer, and do you know what? We'll volunteer for Games Day as well, okay? Won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we'll volunteer for Games Day as well. So,
It'd give us something to do other than stand in a queue.
Well, yes.
That's the
really
thing,
hard.
Whenever I was there, I did pick up one piece of Fantasy Flight kit. I picked up Blood Bowl Team Manager. Now, it was set up separately from the main GW store and the Forge World store.
Yeah.
So I found it a lot easier, and they did have a couple of little demos running there.
Yeah.
But that's why
little partial games to get you the flavour of it.
Yes, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about previous Games Days where there was tons of participation games. Like in 2010, we saw like goblins and balloons and blimps racing around a canyon.
We also saw the floating castles.
This is part of why I call it Sales Day, right? You were over having some demo games. Great, brilliant. But it was all demo games of stuff, it's sitting here, now you've played it, buy it. There was none of this independent gaming of, why am I playing this? Because it's bloody fun. That's it.
The other thing that I missed was in 2010, every 10 minutes or so, you'd hear a wah being shouted at someone, or cheers or roars, and the kids were excited. And the age group back in 2010, there was young to old, a big spread. I don't know, but the impression I got was that it was mostly us old geezers.
Wasn't very many.
I didn't feel like an old geezer. Normally at these things, I start to feel, I'm getting on a bit.
Well, we discussed it on the way down or the way up.
The way back.
On the on the way there, we were saying,
Yeah.
let's get ready to be some of the oldest people there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like that at all.
No, it wasn't like that at all. It wasn't like that at all. So, it's a real pity. But, like I said, I got some great chats. It was an opportunity for me to hook up again with designers that I haven't had a chance to chat to in a good couple of years. So I had a lovely conversation with Jez Goodwin, who was giving me grief about my Two Girls One Cup parody of his Storm Raven.
Yeah, did he not know what that was beforehand and had to go watch it after?
Yeah, Jez, I really wish you hadn't watched
Apologies.
that. That wasn't the intention of that video, Jez, was to expose you to that, but yeah, so we had a chuckle about that, and we were chatting about Eldar, Dark Eldar, chatting about Space Marines as well. I was telling him the story of my little girl going in to Games Workshop with me. I was asking the manager allowing us to paint, and I sat her down at the wee painting station with me. She was on my knee.
She picked the Space Marine.
Yeah. Just kill my story, why don't you? So
You already used it a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, but Jez was saying, he appreciated that because for one of the things Jez was saying, for him in design, the silhouette of a miniature is so important. He says the silhouette of a miniature has to be incredibly strong. And if you think about it, you look at the silhouette of the Eldar, the Dark Eldar,
They're all recognizable.
Space Marine.
You get the flavour of it.
Yeah, but there are key things, like in the Dark Eldar, you got those kind of little kind of pointy bits and stuff like that there. When you look at it, you start to see just exactly the kind of principles and things that he works to. So yeah, it was interesting. I didn't get a chance to have a chat with Jervis this time. But Jervis was there running some strange little thing about there was like 6 Space Marines, and 6 tiny little dice. I think he was probably giving people a little workshop in game design or something. Either that or he was cheating them out of their money or something.
Find the lady, find the lady, find the lady.
They did have painting stations though.
Yep.
So I mean that's where most of the young people were. Was at the painting stations.
They didn't have many, but they had some. What they didn't have though was the bits demon or whatever they call it, where you can get together and work through all the bits and build something. There was nothing like that. There was. I had a great chat with one of the painters. He had done a beautiful Necron scheme.
That nice stone effect stuff.
Yeah, it had a kind of like a stony effect to it. It had almost like a gritty texture.
I think I snapped a couple of pictures of that.
I'll see if I can hunt those out, guys.
But the whole thing was done just using dry brushing. I said, well, how did you get the texture on the flat panels of the monolith? Because the monolith is smooth plastic. I don't think the monolith has a texture on it. Not that I can remember anyway. And he said, no. The dry brushing technique that he's using gave it that stone texture. And I thought, that is fabulous.
But it was dry brushing, it wasn't stippling.
No, it wasn't stippling. It was absolutely dry brushing. But the brush was as dry as you could possibly have got.
Right, so you were dropping a few particles of paint at a time as you went across?
Yes, but there was no streaking. It was really, really well done. It was really well done.
It was smooth.
I had a fun chat with Matt Ward. Per Matt, I do wind him up from time to time on the show and stuff like that there, and I went up and
it's all in good fun.
Matt was tired by this stage. Matt had been tortured the whole day and he was tired, but he was on his own. I said, "Oh Matt, I can't leave you sitting on your own." He looked up and you could tell he was thinking, "Oh, there's that from Beast of War," or probably just there's that. And I turned around and I said, "Hi Matt, yes, I'm your online lookalike." He wasn't happy with that, but I had a great chat with him anyway. So it looks to me like Matt's just going to be working away on a lot of the fantasy stuff now for a while. So that's good. I can't wait to see the results of that. So
the one letdown for me for the whole show.
Yeah.
Golden Demon. The prestigious award. Where'd they put it? In the basement.
And what was it?
It was a basketball court
in the basement.
You had to go down 2 or 3 flights of steps to get to it.
Yes. Do you know what? To be fair,
it's one of those centerpiece things of games.
You see, you could have stuck Forge World down there, but if you'd stuck Forge World down there, and there was a fire, you literally would have had 1,000 people killed. You know? So I don't know how they would have worked that. Yeah,
There's gonna be people that go there and they hit the spot though. Perfect for
there
them.
was one guy went there, and it was perfect for him because he went there and apparently dropped $3,000 in cash on Forge World.
And that's why it was perfect for
Whoa.
them. You see, we go there to soak up the atmosphere.
Yes.
Whereas a lot of people go there to zero in and go, I just want to go to Forge World and that's my day, epic, done.
Yeah, and and that's fair enough. But what I would suggest to Workshop, I don't know if it would make any difference, but next year, get all the participation games back for a start. Get all the stores back involved. They're all ready to volunteer along with us, so get them all up, all right? And for your Forge World and your Black Library signings and things like that, to cut down on the queues, create 2 tiers of ticket. Create the £35 ticket, but please, give us a miniature. Give us something to take away
That was
with us.
dry because the bag.
It had a pen.
I took it home. And my fiance was like, "Well, what did you get?" I was like, "I got this bag. What's in it? A catalogue and a pen."
And a magazine.
It wasn't a very thick magazine. And she went, "Is that it for 35 quid?"
To be fair, that was the, what do you call it for whenever you go to an event?
Goodie bag.
No, the book.
No,
the
that
book.
was the-
Oh, the program.
program. It's a program.
Yeah, for 35 quid. She's like, "That's it." Yeah, that's
in
it.
previous years, you got a limited edition.
See what she did though? she just emptied it all out and went, "I'll have the bag."
Hey!
I have
So-
2 more at home for her.
So 35 quid, give us a miniature. Even I know it can be costly because you can't just whip out one of the plastic ones. You could. Well, hang on. To be fair, even Salute was able to make a plastic miniature as a giveaway this year.
Yeah, but even if it was one of the old metal ones.
Surely-
a random
surely
one
it's
from the
gotta
old
be-
batch of
Yeah,
metal.
but a plastic one would be more cost effective.
Yeah, it's got to
for
be
them
cheaper to give away
produce.
plastic ones.
Yeah.
Well,
But anyway, then create a £100 ticket, right?
Right.
Create a £100 ticket just for the Forge World guys, okay, or for the people that want to visit Forge World and Black Library, that gets them into a priority queue,
yeah.
and then whenever they get to the thing, they can redeem their £100 ticket for £50 worth of Forge World or something. Okay,
Yeah,
on
and
top of what they
get past
spend, and
the
they
long
get
queue.
and they can stand in a separate priority queue, and that way, yeah, it's a 2-tier system. But as Lloyd said, I didn't go there this year to buy a lot of Forge World. I went to try and soak up the atmosphere and start to get myself back into the whole vibe.
Yeah,
of
we
the
went
Imperium.
for the celebration part of it.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
But-
to be honest, I went for a bit of Black Library, but I took one look at the queue and went, nope.
yeah.
But even you bought, what was it, Team Manager you bought?
Yeah, Blood Bowl
Right.
Team Manager.
So essentially you paid 35 quid plus the cost of the game.
Yeah,
Ouch.
a little bit.
Because we weren't going with that buy mentality to really offset.
Yeah, it was a
cost
case
of
of
the
me
ticket.
walking past and going, oh, that looks rather cool, sit down and have a game of that. Okay, that was rather cool. Gimme.
You know?
Yeah, well, do you know what? That's entirely fair. That's entirely fair. And, that was probably an enjoyable moment for you.
Yeah.
I just think the atmosphere could have been better.
Mine-
So downstairs you had the Golden Demon.
Yeah.
The entries for the Golden Demon were phenomenal, as usual.
They're always phenomenal. I get a Golden Demon fatigue though really quickly because there's so many to look at and you're like,
So good,
oh, that's
isn't it?
amazing. Oh, that's amazing. And that's amazing. So what I actually enjoyed more was the armies on parade.
Yeah.
Well, before you get to that, do you know how I get over the Golden Demon fatigue? The first, and to be fair, this year, practically the only bit that I went to was the Young Bloods. And even they sickened me at how good they are. I like going to the Young Bloods and looking at that because I go, yeah, I could maybe do that. But they were brilliant. The Young Bloods were absolutely brilliant. But the armies on parade,
They're brilliant because there isn't plinths everywhere.
yeah,
there is.
The whole thing is a plinth.
Lloyd has
I hate 'em.
an ingrained hatred of plinths.
Oh, I hate plinths. I hate the fact that you have a wee miniature that's this size, it looks epic, and this ginormous monolith of a plinth.
So I just block of wood.
I hate it.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
they mostly are just a really bad block of wood. I don't mind. There's the odd plinth that they do. Some of the guys have done in the past, where the plinth has been, kind of carved. It looks like it's underground.
That
and
sort of
stuff.
stuff's cool.
That's fine. but just your standard round or square pine plinth is just. It's
would you prefer a triangle?
I would prefer a triangle, something different than this stupid.
If it was a triangle,
do you know what's worse
made out
though?
of granite or something.
And it's this layer bevel, another bevel. And
Yeah.
it's just like crap that you made in what is it?
CDT.
CDT at
Yes.
school. I hate it.
Would
It's
work
like, oh,
to the rest of us. Would work. Yeah. On the lathe.
I can't stand
Yeah.
them.
Bevel, bevel, bevel. Long bit, bevel, bevel, long bit, bevel. So,
It's almost as if you're trying
And
to
they're
speak
always
code.
and they're always so bloody glossy as well. I
Yes.
hate them.
right.
Moving on before he pops of an
Anyway,
artery.
the armies on parade were great.
Yes, they were great.
Now, the armies on parade, they should have been upstairs, to be fair, because that was something that came from all the stores. So each store has a kind of like a little competition where they do their armies on parade, and then what they do is they basically pick a winner, and then I think they pick a winner, and then they pick the one that they're sending to Games Day. Because the winner may not actually be able to go to Games Day. Or the winner is the first one in the group that can go to Games Day. I'm not entirely sure.
I think it's the winner. They have their own little internal competition,
Yeah.
as far as I'm aware, and then I think it's the winner. Then they send it on to Games Day.
Or give first bite at it.
Yeah, they give them a first opportunity to go to Games Day, and then if they can't, then it goes to the second place or the third place.
so on.
So, but some of them were absolutely brilliant. And
Again,
it's
my complaint, the space they had it in. Fine, your Golden Demon in the nice cabinets, all really well lit.
yes,
Oh.
yes, these weren't lit.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, I mean, some people had done LEDs and stuff on
But
them,
that's
which was
why
quite
I
cool.
felt it should have been upstairs because it was a little celebration of the hobby.
It's a little bit of the heart of it.
Upstairs there were, as far as I can remember, there were 3 gaming tables. There was one big diorama with the Ultramarines on it.
Yes,
was
there-
cool.
there
Was that the full chapter?
No, it wasn't.
That's. I think of all the Games Workshop stores had painted some Ultramarines, so that was a collation.
But I think that was done years ago. I think that's just them rolling
it's just
that
reeling
out
that
again.
out again.
There was a Warhammer Fantasy one, which actually had some pine bark cliffs on it. So yes, it was still based on the realm of Battleboard, but they'd actually done some proper terrain the way they used to do, which I really miss.
I think I've seen that though before.
Yes, it probably was rolled out from a previous one as
Well,
well.
the latest Forge World was there.
And then Forge World did a stand that was stunning.
Yeah, they had
Great.
their nice boards set about it with
they
their
had
battle
two,
boards.
They had 2 set up.
Yeah, and
Possibly
they were
3.
great. They were great. So yeah, do you know, it's upstairs. They had each of the licensees.
Oh, you mean on the
On the upper
balcony?
ring.
Yeah, on the balcony they had the licensees that are doing all the iPad stuff, and I had a great time up there actually. The new kind of like Space Marine platformer looks awesome.
Is that the little 2D side scroller?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked quite fun.
It's called a platformer.
Yeah, called
Stick with me,
all right,
kid.
old man, all right.
Stick with me.
All right, old man, calm down, calm down.
It was like that is what we grew up with on the Amiga.
it's a stick it on the train, on you go.
Yeah, that is what we grew up with on the Amiga. And I was telling him, man, you just had me at the moment I saw him jumping up the ledges and killing stuff. That's classic video gaming, and I'm all over that.
Well, speaking of classic video gaming, there was one. It was like an old school sort of CNC Command and Conquer style one.
Yes, yep.
Oh, what was the name of it?
Well, it's made by Slither. Is it
Slytherin? Slytherin?
So that's Harry Potter, man. Yeah, I'm Harry Potter on the brain. But
was-
yes, it's a cool one. We need to find out more about that. I got to play Warhammer Quest on the iPad, which was really beautiful. I mean,
It did look really nice.
It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I hadn't been at it until then, just because we had so much stuff going on. And then I finally got to play it. It's so beautifully executed. It's lovely.
I would like us to have had a bit more footage of that, but confiscation.
We would have had more footage on it. The thing was
Cavity
confiscated.
searches.
Yeah. Space Hulk was
Space
there.
Hulk was good.
It looks really good as well.
It looked good online, and then when you get to see it a bit on the big screen being played, you're going, yeah, that is nice
Yeah.
looking.
So, to be fair, yeah, since the collapse of THQ, yeah, we were all starting to wonder, it's all going to get a bit weak. And yeah, these are
Mobile device games.
These are mobile device games. But I believe Warhammer Quest is like $2.99 or $3.99 or something. You know, and it's a beautiful, beautiful implementation of it. It is stunningly well done. So, you know, I think there will be other licenses come up. The big ones, the big AAA ones, will come along again. They always do. But in the meantime, there's some great stuff there. So yeah, it's
Well, we mentioned Forge World.
yeah.
My big enjoyment part of the day was I went and chatted to the art department from Forge World. That always intrigues me, going over having a chat with other artists and seeing what they're up to.
Designer to designer.
Yeah. So they were sitting on these cool Wacom screens. Wacom.
Wacom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wacom screens. They're like $2,000 a pop.
That's
They're just drawn
your
directly on
touchpad.
the screen. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, they're so nice. So I went over and I was starting to quiz them a little bit. So I was talking about, you know, what sort of timescales.
Yeah, start to finish of a
involved.
project.
How apt is that? Our designer goes over and says, "So how long do you get to do your stuff?"
Do you get longer than me to do your stuff? Oh, really? Well, it turns out it's usually about anywhere between 1.5 days to 4 days to do the illustrations and things on the front covers of the book.
That's a really quick turnabout.
That is a quick turnaround
Right.
for some of their illustrations are beautiful.
For example, the Horus Heresy Book 1,
Yep.
the cover art on that was a day and a half. Now, I say a day and a half, it's because I was chatting to the guy who'd done it, and it was originally done as a piece inside the book,
Yeah.
right? The interesting thing I was talking to them is they lay out all the text in the book first,
Yeah.
and then they go, okay, this is the layout, this is the areas left at the bottom of the pages.
So
and
here's our
things.
framework to add stuff.
Now make an illustration specifically for that page, now that you know the layout.
That's a really good idea. Yeah.
So originally the book, the Horus Heresy Book 1 was going to have a picture of Aragon, the Primarch guy.
Angeron?
Yes, Angeron.
There you go.
Angeron, the Primarch guy.
Yeah,
One of the illustrations in the
Waldeers.
book was supposed to be on the front cover, but then the Games Workshop guys basically decided, no, we don't really like the
the feel of it.
yeah, just the layout of that picture. So then they swapped to a picture that was inside the book.
Yeah.
No, the interesting thing is they do a lot of the pictures inside the book in black and white. They don't bother to colour them in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we do them in black and white. Does that not make it harder? For me, I would have thought it made it harder. If I was doing that, I would just put the elements together in colour and then just wick all the colour out of it.
Blend it and stuff like
And that
that.
would be that.
Yeah.
But he says, no, we created it from black and white. So they gave him a day and a half then to colour it in
Yeah.
to go on the cover. And I was sitting thinking, a day and a half still, pushing it for...
You are under the thumb at that point.
So a day and a half to do the black and white illustration.
No, it was a day and a half to colour it in.
Take it from black and white to colour.
Yeah. How long did he spend doing the black and white
He
illustration?
didn't tell me.
All right. Okay.
But
okay.
based on other things, I'd say, anywhere between 3 and 4 days, something
Yeah.
like that.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
But it was good, because then I was starting to ask them about, well, do you guys share assets? Because there was 3 sitting in a row, and I was like, do you guys share assets? There's Rachel over there. Does she share assets with you? And they're like, yeah, we do share assets. And I was like, so things like hills and things like that? And he's like, yes, yeah. The guy I was talking to said he spent a while setting up a new network or something they were working on to share assets with. And he was saying, after they've used an asset a number of times, they mark it as being used too many times, so it'll never be used again to stop their artwork
The
becoming
repetition.
Samey.
Yeah.
becoming samey, because they obviously want to protect the look of the artwork.
And what
because it's
about
really important.
3D? Are they doing any?
Well, that's just it. I then was quizzing them about, because I was talking to them about, okay, so you share assets. What about the likes of CAD/CAM? Because they're designing their models in 3D.
Yeah.
Do they share the 3D assets with you so you can then pop them into Photoshop and rotate them and take a snapshot? So let's take a Land Raider in 3D and pop it into this scene. It's not the right angle. Let's rotate it and render that, and hey presto, that's it.
And then do your illustration around it.
And then blend it in.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Now the guy I was talking to says the Games Workshop don't want to do that.
Really?
He was all up for it. He says, I really want to do that because it'll save us a lot of time.
Yeah.
I was like, damn right, it's got to save you time, rather than drawing the same. If you've drawn a Land Raider one day,
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have to draw it for the next
you're
10,
drawing a
15
Land Raider
times, how many
again,
times, yeah.
and you're drawing it again, and you're drawing it again. Because obviously you don't want to draw it once
Yeah. So why don't?
and then reuse that because it
Yeah.
would be the same angle all the time. But if you get the 3D asset and bring it in,
You can start to rotate it.
Yeah, you can
can
drop
rotate
it.
it.
Why don't they do that then? What's the reason? behind
basically what I got was it was just a fear that the quality of the artwork wouldn't be the same. That it just wouldn't feel like Games Workshop artwork. And I was saying to him,
That's fair enough, I suppose.
but surely we're at the stage where, it's moved on to the point where rendering technology and stuff, it's gonna look sweet. And he was saying, yeah, I'm all with you on this. I'd really like to do it that way, but Games Workshop at this point in time don't really feel comfortable with it. Yeah. And I was saying, but by the time you guys render it out, put it in, and then do your artwork over it and blend it all in, it's gotta look, it's gotta look hot. And he's like, yeah, but that's just not the way they want to go.
Yeah.
And I guess I can understand, because I was chatting to another one, I was sitting going, so you seem to spend a lot of your time taking the pictures of the actual models and then retrofitting it with lasers and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then I was talking to, I didn't really get too far into their names and stuff, because I was like, oh, brilliant artwork. And that was
You were just staring at the shiny machine going,
I was away on
how could I get Warren to buy me one of these?
I was away on my own shiny syndrome trip. Yeah. But I was looking at it and going, right, well, there's a lot of 2D illustration and stuff going on here. And then I thought, well, yeah, I guess that's it, because they don't want to muddy the line between, here's an illustrated version of our character. Yeah. Here is the real version of our character. Maybe they just don't like the idea of, here's a virtual version of our character.
Yeah, that's very true, actually. Yeah, it's interesting. That is interesting. So, I suppose the big question is, did it fire you up for our return to 40k content at all?
Yeah.
Lukewarm.
Oh, man. Yeah, it fired me up.
But that's because you're the lukewarm water in the middle of the ice.
Lucky Pierre.
Fire and ice. Fire and ice, and you can be the lukewarm water in the middle. So, yeah, well, to be fair, it was a tricky one. It's going to take more than a games day to completely get everything all clicking back into place again. But we have an idea. To kick off the 40k coverage, what we thought we would do is do a series. We're just going to do them in blocks of a series. And we haven't got a name for the show yet, so we're open to suggestions on that. But the concept of the show is that we're going to let you guys vote for an army. Okay. And it could be any Codex army. We're going to have a vote for it. And whichever army comes out top, we're going to do a series specifically about that army. Mm-hmm. Build that army from start to finish. Play that army possibly at a tournament as well. Find out about the fluff of that army and talk about the fluff of it. We're going to talk about the different kind of builds that we can do between themed builds and tournament style builds. Mm-hmm. We're going to try and reach out to some of the minds that are either in Workshop that probably won't speak to us, or no longer with Workshop who may well speak to us, to try and find out some of the hidden things and some of the cool things behind the scenes that happened with that army.
And then we'll try and cover how this army fares against various other armies and things like that.
As we're going through, we're going to then talk about this army. We're going to do the whole run through the codex and stuff like that as well, all in a series, in a single series. And that series, we're not sure the number of episodes. Could be 6, 8, 10 episodes. Okay.
Just depends on planning it out.
Yep.
But our approach to this is we were thinking, what's going to be good for both current 40k players and new people trying to get into the game.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, if you're new to the game, you need to pick a faction and you need to follow it through till completion.
Yeah.
I.e., all the steps Warren has described. Yeah. But then we thought, well, this could also be useful then to 40k players, because I'm a 40k Tau player, but I don't play Space Wolves, I don't play Necrons and things like that.
Yeah, so it could be useful getting into the mind of your enemy.
Yeah, exactly. I could follow this series.
Know your enemy.
I could follow this series, and that would guide me through into, well, I hope a level of proficiency in a brand new army.
Yeah.
So it would appeal to me as a 40k player as well.
So as well as all the other news and reporting and stuff like that, what we quite like about the idea is that you guys get to dictate the agenda, so to speak, which army we're gonna focus on. So we're throwing that out to you. We're all open to any ideas, whether if you like the idea or not. But we think it's kind of cool.
We hope you're going to be enthused with that idea.
Well, I love it because it's going to cover fluff. It's going to cover painting. It's going to cover gaming. It's going to cover how that army interacts with other armies, because we'll get guests in for some of the episodes and look at specifically how this army would fare against their army, and try and look
Right,
for.
so you're going to do
for
a small
weaknesses.
nemesis block to it.
Yeah, that
And
whole type of thing.
what we like the idea of is you see other sites and whatnot, and they're doing battle report, battle report, battle report, or a tactic or something like that. We're thinking if over the course of the time we'll build a library of this,
Yeah.
and then you can come to Beast of War, and you can go 40k. Oh, there's an entire library of stuff about different armies that I can get into. This is brilliant. And then I can
from start to finish.
I can taste a bit of that army and a bit of this army, and then go. Well, that's the one I like the taste of the most watching the videos.
Or if you're playing against your friends and you're having wild bother against that particular army, you can go, let's see, what are they good at? What are they good at?
Now, there'll no doubt be other pieces of content sprinkled in and around all of this, but one of the things we wanted to have was a cool core series specifically aimed at 40k, where we're looking at an army at a time. And over to you on that one.
Yeah, we want a cool name.
Yes, we need a cool name for the show. Okay, so the very thing that's allowing us to do that was our announcement yesterday that we are now going out independent. It's terrifying, isn't it? Some of the highlights to give you an idea of some of the plans. So we're leaving the studios here in Essex. This is probably some of the last time we're going to film here. We've had fun here. We've learned an awful lot here. It's been
Made
great.
some good friends while we've been here.
We've made some amazing friends. All our presenters and stuff like that, they're all sticking with us. The only difference is now, instead of it being at one studio, we're going to have a couple of studios. So we are going to have some studio space back in Ireland again.
Do you know what the great thing about this is, Justin?
What?
We can try and get Warren on more flights.
Yeah, nice. But we also have permanent satellite studio space organised in Nottingham. So we thought, as part of this, the next big step is let's go to the lead belt. If we're gonna do it, let's do it right. So we're coming into the lead belt. So we have the Nottingham studios are going to be fired up.
If
Bet
anybody,
big or go home?
if anybody's
Yes.
not familiar with what we're talking about, Nottingham has loads and loads of miniature companies. It's basically the equivalent of Silicon Valley
For miniature companies.
for miniature companies.
Yeah.
Hence why it's called the lead belt.
We also have two options for studios in the States, believe it or not.
Wait, what?
Yeah, but we don't have the resource at the moment to really be able to do anything with that just yet.
That makes me giggle too. Him on a flight to the States. Warren is scared of flying.
I just get the
Hold
feeling
on a
that
minute, who am I talking to? You were on a flight and squealed like a little girl when we came into land.
He did.
One time, whenever I was half asleep, these jackasses hadn't let me sleep because I hadn't slept the night before because I didn't want to miss the flight. They didn't let me sleep on the flight, and then he was annoying me all the way across. When we landed, we skidded across the runway. I was scared.
The plane went like this.
And Justin went, anyway.
So embarrassing.
It was really embarrassing. He was the only
I'm
person.
sorry for shaming you.
Even the little girl across the way didn't squeal like a little girl. Only you. So we have lots of options, and as you say, we're going to bet big or go home. So the plan effectively is that for the next week and a bit, we still have some content going out. It might be a little bit more sketchy, but it'll be intermingled with little vlogs as we give you guys progress updates on what we're doing. So
You can't kill the signal.
no, you can't.
I'll do my best to keep things up and running, guys.
So we'll all the news flow and everything like that will just continue exactly as normal. We have shows on the table, for example, is going out as normal. There might be a little bit lighter on the ground, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get a weekender out next week, just because of the fact that we are only landing back in Ireland on the Friday. So there probably won't be.
We have to sort out connect
We
to
have
everything.
connectivity to sort out. We have filming spaces to sort out. We have a ton of stuff to sort
I'm
out.
currently homeless.
So yeah, well, to be fair, we're going to say there ain't going to be a weekender next week,
You're
but
not
we're going to try and
homeless
get something.
though,
I'm
Justin.
joking.
We'll have
Relax.
plenty of boxes.
We've got
Did
boxes.
With a beard like that, it'll look perfect.
It's winter. It's getting cold.
The other thing that we're
getting
going to do when we get home is we're planning on setting up a club. So we are. It's a major step that we're going to have to take. We want to reach out to some of the clubs that are in that area anyway, just to make sure we're not treading on any toes. But our idea is that we're going to set up a club and we're going to document the whole process of how we went about setting it up, how we've advertised it, and all of these things, and try to grow it. And we're going to document that all on Beasts of War. And then if you've sitting somewhere, wherever it is in the world, and you've thought that you've always fancied setting up a club, well, we'll show you how we're going to try and do it, and then if it works, great. You can kind of follow the formula. So, when the weekender returns, we were bringing back Game of the Weekend. We didn't have time for it, unfortunately, in this episode.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I wanted to break out King of Tokyo.
We've got King of Tokyo.
Justin's been brushing up on it.
Yeah, we have a
It's
stack.
a brilliant little game.
We have a stack of games to show you guys, so I cannot wait. I've got some cool stuff from Flying Frog that I really, really can't wait to show you
But
guys.
unfortunately, we also have a stack of packing to do.
Yeah.
Yes, all this stuff all has to be dismantled.
Again.
So, again.
We were thinking of playing your Arrival video in reverse.
Yeah. So that's that. Tomorrow we have XLBS, which is going out on Backstage. If you would like to support the Beasts of War project and to make sure that it continues and goes from strength to strength, Backstage is the way to go. It's getting better and stronger all the time. Now that we're all involved in it completely full time,
Yeah.
well,
There's
we've got
only gonna be
loads of
more
stuff
at
we
it.
want to do in it. So if you could, at least go and have a look at that, because Backstage is the lifeblood of Beasts of War, and it's what keeps all of this running. Before we go, we have a prize to give away.
Yeah, we do.
We can't forget about that. We've got duties to take care of.
Yep.
So the prize winner is going to win a giant.
Ultra Forge,
Ultra Forge
Mercenary
Giant.
Giant. 2 of the Anarchy models.
The turrets.
Yeah, the turrets. So you've got a nice little Panzer IV conversion
Yep.
to go on top of your Lemon Rust vehicles and stuff. You've also got a nice big chunky KV2 conversion one. And we just thought it would be funny to give away the Goblin Tinker as well for War Machine.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the winner of that nice little lot, I've been handed a slip of paper by Justin, is Soldado. So congratulations, mate. Well done. We'll get that out into the post to you. So guys, that is that. We will see you tomorrow, you Backstagers, on XLBS. And the next Weekender will be taking place from somewhere over in Ireland. So,
well, watch out for
or possibly Nottingham if we decide which direction we're going. So guys, look, thank you very much for all your support. Thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you very soon.